All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive on something I think a lot of you are really interested in.
Yeah, this should be fun.
We're going to be talking all about the Valencia VX100 Soundbar.
Uh-huh.
We're going to figure out what it's all about, what it can
We're
do.
going to look at the specs for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got like the marketing materials, basically, is what we're working with here
And
today.
it's like what Valencia is telling us about this soundbar.
Exactly. And see if we can't like cut through some of that jargon and figure out what's really going on.
Exactly. Yeah, does it live up to the hype?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is this the soundbar for you?
Okay, so first up, right off the bat, they are hitting us hard with this 1000 W power output. They mention this a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of watts.
It is a lot of watts, but like, what does that actually mean, in real life?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds impressive, right?
It does sound impressive, but like, is my house going to fall down? Like, what's going on with 1000 watts?
It's a little bit misleading, I would say. So 1,000 watts is a lot, especially for a soundbar.
Yeah.
But the thing you have to think about is your room size.
Okay.
Like if you have this in like, I don't know, a tiny little studio apartment,
Right.
you're probably not even gonna like use all those watts.
You're going to blow the walls off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
all relative.
it's all relative.
Oh, boy.
It's a powerful sound bar, but how much of that power you're actually going to use?
Right. You might not even need that much power.
Yeah, it depends on your space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep that in mind, listeners. All right, next up we have compact design.
Don't they all say that?
They do all say that, which is kind of annoying.
It's like, what does that even mean anymore?
Right, exactly. Like compact compared to what?
Yeah.
Compared to a refrigerator.
Right.
So, like, what can we actually say about the size of this thing based on what we have?
So they don't give us a ton to go on here.
Ugh, classic.
Yeah, which I had
Ugh.
more for you, but they don't give us actual dimensions. But I do think it's interesting they keep saying, like, this will fit in seamlessly with any room, any setup.
Right.
So maybe they're going for more of like a discreet look rather than like, it's going to be absolutely tiny.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily that it's like super duper small. It's just that it's like unobtrusive or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to blend in. Whatever your aesthetic is, they're saying this is going to work for you.
Okay, interesting. All right, well, that's about all we can say about that for now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unless they want to send us one.
Ah.
All right, next up, and this one always makes me laugh. It's the advanced audio technology.
Of course.
Like, what does that even mean?
Like every piece of audio equipment has advanced audio technology, right?
Right, that's their whole deal.
Yeah.
So what are they even trying to tell us here?
Okay, so this is where we have to like read between the lines a little bit. So they do say immersive surround sound. They talk about crystal clear dialogue, and then they also mention deep bass.
Okay.
So it seems like they're really emphasizing like an experience here, right? Like you're really getting that full surround sound, even though it's just a sound bar.
So they're implying that there's like some internal processing happening
Yeah.
to make it sound bigger than it is, basically.
Yeah, some like digital signal processing magic going on.
Okay, so like even if we don't know exactly what it is, we can kind of get a feel for what they're going for.
Totally. And honestly, for a lot of people, that's all they really care about. Like, does it sound good? Who
Yeah.
cares what the technology is, right?
Exactly. Okay, so moving on, they kind of speed through multiple connectivity options and like easy setup,
Right.
which to me, those are super important, but I kind of feel like they're just like, yeah, it's got that, whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, those should be standard these days, right?
They should be, but you know how it is. Sometimes you
Yeah.
get in there and it's like a nightmare trying to hook something up.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And like, this is for our entertainment,
Mm.
for our relaxation time,
Yeah.
I don't need the added stress of like not being able to figure out the Bluetooth or whatever.
Who needs that headache? It should
Exactly.
be plug and play.
Okay, so we've gone through all the main features here. What do you think for our listeners, like, who is this perfect for? If someone is listening right now and they're like, oh, I need to know more, I need to go buy this right now, who is that person?
Okay, I think it's somebody who, maybe they have a bigger living room.
Okay, someone with a little bit more space.
Yeah, they want that really powerful room-filling sound.
They want to hear those explosions.
Exactly, yeah. They don't necessarily need like a super minimalist tiny sound bar. Because we've already established we don't know exactly how big it is, but it seems like they're going more for like that powerful experience.
Sure.
And then, they want something that's easy to use.
Yeah, plug and play like you said.
Yeah, they don't want to be messing around with a million settings.
Right.
They want to just plug it in and have it sound good.
So based on what they're emphasizing, it sounds like it's probably best for like movies and TV, maybe gaming, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're an audiophile who's really into music, you might want to look at something
Right,
else.
because they really are emphasizing that cinematic sound.
Yeah, the bass, the surround sound, that's clearly their target.
Okay, awesome. So one last thing I want to point out before we wrap things up. They kept saying throughout these materials, like, thank you for subscribing and purchasing, like alluding to this whole Valencia ecosystem,
Oh, interesting.
which makes me think, like, is this soundbar maybe even more impressive if you're using it with other Valencia products?
Right, like maybe they have a whole system that this integrates with.
Like, yeah, like maybe it's even better, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But it's just something to keep in mind. Like, is this something you want to buy as a standalone product, or is it better as part of like a whole Valencia setup?
That's a great question, and unfortunately, we don't have the answer to that today.
Not today.
But maybe something we look into in the future.
Exactly. Something for our listeners to think about.
There you go.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for our deep dive on the Valencia VX100 soundbar. As always, thanks for listening.